Okay, so if you're new here, for the last few videos, I've been doing the 12 steps of the hero's journey, which is a storytelling framework. And today is day 3. So if you've made it this far, thanks for sticking with me. And today is about the refusal of the call. On this day, you may be letting those negative thoughts take root and become your dominant thoughts. So let's discuss that. If you're new here, I'm Sherry from SherryLaMiller.com. Welcome, and let's get started. So today we're looking at the refusal of the call. So you've looked at your baseline, where you are, you're in a scarcity mindset, or you're in a mindset that no longer serves you. You've taken the call, you've accepted the invitation to change, you're embracing change, but now you're to the step where the refusal of the call, because doubt, uncertainty, the negative emotions, they're at the forefront. They're the ones that are at the front of your mind, and you're wondering, can you do this? Is it worth it? Should you just go back to the status quo of where you were? But you're also looking at, what is it costing you to stay in your existing ordinary world? If you don't move past that baseline, what does your life look like? Because clearly you're here because something isn't working. So at this stage, when fear, doubt, uncertainty, whether or not you can do it, what is it going to take to do it? When all of these things that you start to second guess yourself about, when they're the dominant thoughts, it's time to just little bit at a time tell yourself, reframe them. Yes, I can do this. It may be challenging, but I'm going to do a little bit at a time. I'm going to progress at my own pace because this is your own unique journey. I'm going to do what I need to do every day to move myself forward. Even when I feel these limiting beliefs or these negative thoughts creeping in, I'm going to reframe them. I'm going to keep doing that until my mindset becomes more dominant on the positive thoughts and less on the negative thoughts. That's not going to happen overnight. But I wanted to address this on this day, the refusal of the call, to not let those negative thoughts, negative emotions take control and keep you stuck where you are. And the reason you don't want to let those negative thoughts keep you stuck where you are is because, like me, you're going to probably circle back and realize this isn't working and I need to move forward. So in my case, the fear was masked in procrastination and hesitation. So I've been talking about my journaling business. So there were things, like I said in the other video, where I had mapped it from A to Z. I had this self-discovery set of journals, and then I had the ones that were based on finance. And instead of just starting with one, I mapped 2 different series from A to Z, which just kept me from moving forward. I was really technically still in my ordinary world, pretending as if I was moving forward. But recently, I was just like, you got to take a step. And I just kept reframing the process, because in my life, a lot of times when I make decisions, I like to look at it from A to Z. Even though I know curves are going to happen, obstacles can come up, I kind of need to see it. And I was doing that in my business. In the business world, I don't know that it's going to always work for me, because I had this customer journey in my mindset. So my refusal to the call was, I was allowing that to just keep me stuck. I had accepted the invitation, and then I was supposed to move forward, but I was here for months, really. Even though I had mapped out the first journal, actually listed it on Etsy to test it as a digital journal. But my end game is to have physical products. So right now, in order to do that, I don't have the financial resources to take the course or to really put the money up front to print physical journals, because there's an entire process. And since I have to import them, I'm a person, I at least need some base knowledge. I don't really fly well by the seat of my pants. So I was kind of stuck there. Was like, well, will the digital journal work well with this other product that I have? And, I was kind of second guessing different things, even though I had mapped it out. And in theory, it should work as a digital journal. And we're going to see, because I finally sat down and did it, really finished the first phase of my customer journey in about a week and a half, even though I've been spinning my wheels for probably the last 2 or 3 months. Now, there's some other things going on in my life that have overshadowed too. But as far as the business, I was stuck there because I was on this step, not realizing it, refusing the call. I'm not moving forward. I'm not progressing. Just really, I should just complete the first project. Imperfect, I could go back. It's digital, for God's sake. I could go back and modify it. But I kept going, oh no, I want this as the second step. I want this as the third, because the end game is this. And I got to get them from here to there. And it has to be this natural progression and blah, 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 blah. So even though I had this thing mapped out, I was stuck. I was allowing this analysis paralysis, over analyzing, over focusing on the customer journey to keep me stuck. So tomorrow, which will be December 6th, I am going to officially list this first product, which is called the 21 Days Unlock Abundance Experience on Etsy. And I will test it, and it has other parts to it that will eventually get to my flagship product. But the flagship product can pretty much stand on its own. So I don't know why I was tripping. But that's what happens when you allow fear and the negative things to overshadow really logic and what your intuition is telling you, what your gut is telling you. Because for me, I've had other businesses that didn't do well. And sometimes I think that creeps in too. But on a digital product right now, not a lot of cash involved. Now, when I go over to the physical product, that's a different story. But the thing is, I'm not there yet. So when you see these things in your life, when you get to this step, you have to recognize the fear. That's the key. You got to recognize it. You got to identify it. It could show up in different ways. And mine has showed up as analysis paralysis, but it's still some form of fear. It's some form of doubt, uncertainty. So you have to figure out, when you've accepted the fact you no longer want to stay in that ordinary world, that you want to advance forward, you want a transformation, you want more for your life. When you make that first decision, because that's the first decision, you have to recognize that you want more. And when you make the decision that you want more, you go to the next stage of the invitation and you accept the invitation. You're like, yeah, okay, it's time. I want more. I'm moving on. I'm embracing change, blah, 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 sis goomba, like all of that. But then you get to this next phase and you like, wait, hold up. What am I doing? This can happen, that can happen, blah, blah, blah. You start playing all those scenarios in your head. Stop. Right there, just stop. And say, like, I have decided I want change. Change isn't going to happen overnight. Change can be painful. It can be uncomfortable. It can be a whole lot of things. But I want something different. And that's what you tell yourself. When the limiting beliefs start to creep in, when the negative thoughts start to creep in, you reframe them. You reframe them to something that strengthens you. And then you slow it down. If you feel like it's getting overwhelming, you slow it down. And you say, okay, I can do this little small thing today. Because you got the vision over here. Now, the vision may change, but right now, this is the vision. And it's what you're moving towards. You're like, okay, today, this is what I can do to move closer to the vision. And every day, you just keep doing that. And when you look back, you'll realize that you've moved further along than you might have thought possible when you reach phase 3, the refusal of the call, and you started playing all the negative thoughts. So allow the negative thoughts to come background. Like, they may still be there, but you allow the things that are going to push you forward to stay in the forefront of your mind. So we got homework again. We're going to do the daily prompts. I've been sticking with 5, so we're going to do 5. And at the end, I will have them in a download PDF. I'm not going to do it right now because I want to do one phase at a time. But at the end, they will be in one document that you'll be able to download. And I'll put it in the description on day 12. So let's get started with today's homework. Okay, so your first prompt is, what's one thing you're most afraid of if you step into this new chapter? Now, I need you to keep it real right here. Like, what's really holding you back? Like, for me, it was the thought of, I'm going to do all of this work and then it's not going to sell. And that may be the case. But if you don't step, you won't know. Prompt 2. What's comfortable about staying where you are, even if it's not making you happy? Because we know sometimes comfort just feels safer than actually stepping out and making a change. What's the worst case scenario if you fail? And is it really as bad as you think? So at this point, you kind of want to break down the things that you're feeling. Why you feel fearful? And write it down, get it on paper so you can see it and recognize it. What's the cost of staying where you are? So now at this point, you want to look at yourself. If you do not move out of your ordinary life and you look back next year and a year has gone by and you have not done anything different, what is that really costing you? And the last prompt for today, what's one small step, something that you feel safe doing, that you could do today that would allow you to test the waters without it becoming overwhelming for you? So that wraps up day 3, the refusal of the call. Comment below if you have ever felt any of the emotions I'm talking about when you're trying to change. You know your life isn't working for you anymore, but you kind of stay there because that's what you know, that's what you're comfortable doing, but you really want more. And you're kind of watching people around you move forward. And maybe you're not, but you just feel like there's got to be more than this. So comment below. And don't forget, if you found value and you're enjoying this series, give it a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so that you're notified when I release the video for day 4, as well as subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.